Vice President and General Manager Curt Miller, Senior Vice President and Assistant General Manager Travis Charles, and Vice President and Assistant General Manager Jasmine Thomas. How this will run today is Greg's going to make an opening statement. We'll then go to Curt for some opening remarks, and then we'll open it up for questions. We'll make a recording of this available following the conclusion of the Zoom, and use the raise hand function to ask any question, and we'll get to as many of you as possible. Now go to Greg.
Thank you, Pam, and thank you all for joining us on this exciting and very important day for the Dallas Wings organization. When I made the decision to hire a leader for our basketball operations department, there were a few key considerations that played a big part in the decision-making process. I was looking for an individual who had a professional network, not only across the WNBA, but also one that extended internationally and into the NCAA and NBA worlds. I was looking for an individual who had a proven track record and was a winner at the professional level. An individual who brought existing relationships with WNBA players and player agents, and an individual who had coached and won in the WNBA. Now, to find each of those key attributes, as you can imagine, is challenging to say the least. But I'm thrilled we're able to find someone who meets all those criteria and more in Curt Miller. I've known Curt for nearly a decade and watched as he has found success as both a coach and a general manager in our league. He is an elite preparer and a tireless worker. He is also someone who loves the gym, he loves to network, and he loves to continue to learn. Curt is always growing, Curt is always learning, Curt is always improving. I think Curt is an elite basketball mind who has a unique gift for talent evaluation, and I'm thrilled to have Curt joining us as our Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations and General Manager. While Curt is our basketball operations leader, he is supported by a deep and talented staff. And today I'm pleased to formally recognize the promotion of two of those individuals in Jasmine Thomas and Travis Charles. Travis is an original Dallas Wings employee, came with the team from Tulsa prior to the 2026 season. He is someone that's been by my side every step of the way. He has risen through our ranks to become a trusted and admired basketball executive in the WNBA. And I've watched him develop into a very bright young executive. In fact, one of the best young executives in our league, in my opinion. And I'm pleased to formally recognize him today as our new Senior Vice President of Basketball Operations and Assistant General Manager. I think Travis's operational acumen and his institutional knowledge will be invaluable to Curt and our staff as we move forward. Jasmine Thomas is an individual I have had the pleasure to know back to her days at Duke when she had an internship with the Washington Mystics when I was the leader of that organization. I have followed her stellar WNBA playing career with great admiration, and I always had the hope that someday she would join our organization here in Dallas. Last year, we were fortunate to hire Jasmine in a hybrid role on court and off court, and I'm thrilled to announce today she's taking the next step in her professional career development as our Vice President of Basketball Operations and Assistant General Manager. Jasmine's experience as a player, I think, uniquely qualifies her to lead our player services efforts, both on and off the court. I think with Curt, Travis, and Jasmine leading the way, I believe the best days for the Dallas Wings are ahead of us, and I'm excited to see this talented and hardworking group pay dividends as we pursue a WNBA championship. And with that said, I'm pleased to turn it over to our Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations and our General Manager, Curt Miller.
Thank you, Greg. Certainly humbling and an honored to have the opportunity to lead the basketball operations department for the Dallas Wings and become the general manager. It's been a little less than 2 weeks, and I can't begin to tell you how fun it has been in the early journey. Special thanks to Greg and certainly ownership led by Bill Cameron. What an unbelievable opportunity. Through the conversations, through this process, a few things really stood out. The shared vision, the shared enthusiasm, and the thought partner that I would have in Greg as he gave me trust in running the basketball operations. We had incredible conversations, and all those conversations kept coming back to Dallas. What was the tipping point for me, though, was what I'm calling the squad and the opportunity to work alongside of Travis Charles and Jasmine Thomas, who I have a long-standing relationship with. Obviously, Travis is really respected around the league, not only by other executives, but certainly players throughout the league. So knowing the vision that it was going to be a shared collaborative approach of our GMs and assistant GMs as we head forward was a tipping point for me. Special discussion about Jazz was, it was an incredible partnership that we had. In my 8 years as a head coach, she was with me as my leader on and off the court, as a leader in the locker room, a leader in the communities that we played. When I left Connecticut to go to Los Angeles, one of the first things I asked was for management to go after Jasmine, and she helped jumpstart that time in LA. So out of my 9 years as a head coach in the league, Jasmine was with me 8 of those years. So to be reunited in a new role where we're working together was absolutely the icing on the cake in this opportunity to come to Dallas. So with that said, I'm really excited to be here and look forward to the questions and moving forward into this 2025 season.
Thank you all. We'll now open up for questions. If you have a question for any of our members here, just use the raise hand function and we'll get to you. We'll lead off with Howard Mendel.
Thank you. Congratulations to you all. Curt, I have 2 for you if I could. First being, you mentioned Jasmine Thomas and obviously the role that she played for you in multiple places. This is a Wings team that has not been higher than 11th in assist percentage since 2018. So I'm wondering how important in this offseason it is for you to find your Jasmine Thomas, though, clearly we can't have her come out of retirement, I suppose. And then the other has to do with Satu, and obviously with her being a free agent, how much of a priority she is, what your plans are in terms of going about retaining her.
Yeah, obviously, Howard, you mentioned style of play, and that's what's really exciting about the opportunity to come here as the general manager is the opportunity to partner with a new head coach, and those searches are ongoing. It's a global search. The interest in our job is at an all-time high. Certainly, there's WNBA options, there's collegiate options, there's NBA options, but even more importantly nowadays, the game is global and there's international options. So I'm really enjoying the process of the head coaching search. As you talk about, it's really important in those conversations, Howard, in style of play and understanding and listening to the head coach candidates and ultimately the head coach that we land on how they want to play, and then go help them acquire players that would be successful in the way they want to play. With that said, we're going to have certain characteristics that are really important to us. That's unselfishness. That's a culture of competitiveness. All of the teams that I've seen at any level, the Division I level, the pro level, all have a toughness, a competitiveness, and a desire to prepare and get better on a daily basis. That will be a staple for us moving forward. Specifically to, assist, obviously, again, a point guard, a leader like Jasmine was for us, an unselfish leader like that is important, but that will be partnering with the head coach that's yet to be named. As in free agency is really important. One step at a time, Howard. We've got to get through the expansion draft. Then we turn our attention to free agency. Obviously, those conversations are really important and frame the direction that I'm going to be working with my partners here on the GM side, but also with the new coaching staff. Will all be very, very important conversations upcoming. Free agency is right around the corner, so look forward to jumping feet first into that.
Thanks, Curt.
Go to Ronald with Dallas Morning News.
Hey, how you doing, Curt? The Morning News looks forward to, covering your journey with the Wings. So in a sports town such as the Metroplex, how you plan to raise the brand of the Wings?
Yeah, first, not a more exciting time around the WNBA and certainly Dallas. As mentioned today, season tickets are sold out for a second straight year. this time 5 months faster than it was last year. It just shows the excitement and the brand that we have here in Dallas. What an incredible fan base. As a coach that has coached here for 9 years, it's always one of the toughest places to play. The environment is electric, it's loud, and you appreciate the passionate, enthusiastic fan base that is here. And I'm blessed to now be a part of that. So look forward to a team that's connected to the city and a part of the city, and only going to continue to improve as we have 2 new facilities coming on board. Ultimately, the renovated downtown Dallas facility will just connect us to the Dallas community even more than we already are.
Go to Annie Casabill, probably sometime.
Hey guys, good to see you all virtually. Congratulations on the new position, Curt, and everybody sitting up there. I'm just curious with the expansion draft coming up. Obviously, we know that protecting players is an important aspect, but we also know that there are kind of moves that can be made, I guess, behind the scenes, working in a collaborative way with the Valkyries. So where do conversations, where are conversations at with you guys and the Valkyries in terms of possibly making something else happen beyond just protecting players?
Annie, you should know this. You're the new scoop of the WNBA, right? So, no, appreciate the question, Annie. Certainly, obviously, an exciting time with a new team coming on board and the expansion draft upcoming. The discussions start internally first, an important process of who you're protecting that all our clubs are going through. Then those discussions turn to Golden State, and, there's GM to GM conversations as we talk about potential moves and potential, thoughts and discussions that go into that. So those are going to be very, very important over the next, couple weeks. Obviously, we're less than a week away now to turn in our protected list.
Just a quick follow-up. How advantageous do you expect, all 12 teams to be in terms of, again, making moves beyond just the obvious?
Annie, say that one more time. Ask that again.
How aggressive do you expect, all 12 teams to be in terms of trying to make something happen beyond just, again, protecting your 6 players?
Yeah, Annie, I think there's nuances to it that people may not completely understand with the hard salary cap that we deal with. And I won't bore everybody on this call with all those details, but certainly if there's trades to be made in December, it still affects your 2024 cap. So that is directly, then you have to go back and look at everybody's hard cap to make sure that you're still in compliance and not going over what we have in our league as a hard cap. So you may see any moves made in December right away. You may not see moves right away and see moves then made in January. That will be the nuance that maybe the general public doesn't quite have a feel for.
Okay, I appreciate that, Curt. Thank you.
Yep.
Go to Mac Angle next.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, this is questions for anybody. Take it if you want it. I know none of you wants to have the #1 overall pick in the draft, but there is this widely accepted speculation that you are going to take Paige Bueckers. I know you can't say it now, but can you address the speculation that the automatic pick for the Dallas Wings next year will be Paige?
You want me to take that? Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, obviously, we're really excited about having the #1 pick. What an incredible opportunity, energized the phones, ticket sales, merchandise immediately that happened with that excitement. It's hard to put a true value on. So really excited about that opportunity. We know what #1 picks, especially in recent years, have really meant to franchises around the league. And we talk a lot about in this league from a standpoint of building core 3s and core 4s, a part of your team that's really the staple. And you watch the teams that are in positions or are winning championships, that they really have a core unit that has played together and grown together and win together. And so the opportunity to add a #1 pick to our roster and the vision that that person could become a part of a core 3 or core 4 is so exciting for us.
I do have one thing to add, Mac. Go Trojans.
That's a good answer. Thank you.
We'll go to Fran Harris.
Hi, everybody. One question for, and congratulations to everybody. One question for Curt and one question for Jasmine. Curt, your question is, what went into the decision to slide over a
Yep,
chair?
This way, girls. This way.
Can you
You
guys
go out
hear me?
here.
All right.
Let's go.
Curt, what went into your decision to move from coaching to GM? And then the question for Jasmine is, Jasmine, what's it been like to matriculate through the process of being a player in the W and now to an executive? Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Fran, obviously, this offseason has been humbling for me, exciting for me. I think when I was let go by Los Angeles, there was a mindset with my family and my 2 adult sons and discussions with my family that I might take the year off. And as the phone started to ring, not only for coaching opportunities, but GM opportunities, the discussions kept coming back to a potential opportunity in Dallas. And the shared enthusiasm, the vision of the future for Dallas with 2 facilities coming online. We know that's such a game changer for our franchises around the league and what the players in our league are looking for. The conversations with Greg that how much will be invested into player experience and giving back to the players. You know, I just kept coming back to this conversation, and then the opportunity to work alongside Travis and Jazz was an easy opportunity to slide over. I really enjoyed my 6+ years as a GM in Connecticut. Obviously was wearing the dual hat while I was with the Connecticut Sun for those 6 years, but I really, really enjoyed it. And when I woke up in the mornings and wondered if I was going to take the year off and you know, relax and just reflect on my career, I kept on looking at the ceiling at 5 or 6 in the morning with a things to do list. And most of the time, my mind was thinking about other people and putting their roster management, roster construction together. And my mind was constantly thinking about the 6 protection coming up for the expansion draft. Everything kept coming back to moves that a general manager would make. And so I wasn't thinking about sideline out of bounds plays. I wasn't thinking about great drills. I was waking up in the morning without a job thinking about moves a GM would make. So Fran, a long answer to your question, but I've missed it. I've missed the dual hat. I've missed that opportunity of helping construct rosters from the GM standpoint. And I've had just tremendous leaders that supported me as a head coach. And at this point in my career, I think I can be a tremendous supporter and a thought partner and a partner with the new head coach. And that really excited me about that opportunity.
Well, thank you.
And Fran, as Greg said, like I did an internship in a front office while I was in college as a full-time athlete. So I knew from an early age as a player that I wanted to end up in a front office. And throughout my career, I just kind of tried to ask questions, see what opportunities that there were. And as I got closer to the end of my career, I just started setting myself up for opportunities after basketball. So that was in off seasons, doing things to get experience. That was having conversations and working with the league to find opportunities. And it just so happened, right place, right time, I ran into Greg and an opportunity was extended to me. And since then, I've just continued working and trying to learn and grow. And you know, with a extensive experience leadership group like this, being able to have this opportunity to be a sponge and soak that up and bring my playing experience and network and connections that I've developed over the years into this organization is what I'm happy to do.
Great. Thank you.
Go to Ben Hickman, Athletic.
Thanks, Pam. One question just for Trav and one for Jasmine. I guess for Travis, just, you know, what do you hope to learn and get out of your new role and opportunity, you know, throughout as a result of the promotion? And for Jazz, just kind of building off of that, I mean, aspirationally, do you hope to be a GM one day, or would you want to go back into coaching? And if it is the executive work, what do you think your role is in strengthening a potential player to executive pipeline?
So to answer your question about what I'd like to learn, I think there's so much depth of knowledge on this group here. And Curt being on the other end of some of his good teams, having them run up and down the court on us, I believe basketball-wise, there's so much to learn from him and so much experience. And he's been in his job before, and I'm just excited to pick his brain, work alongside him, and try to bring a winner back to Dallas.
And for me, I'm never going to put a ceiling on what I can accomplish and achieve. So if being a general manager is out there for me one day, right now it's for me to work hard and get more knowledge and soak things up from these guys to prepare myself to be able to be in that conversation one day.
What are you, just following up, what do you like, what role do you think you play in potentially setting a foundation or setting an example for, current players to then go into a front office like you have done?
I would say networking and conversations. I think that's the thing, is you get so caught up in just playing, especially the way that my career went. It was WNBA overseas. I was playing nonstop, and the years pass you by pretty fast. So if you're not taking the most of those making the most of those opportunities, whether it's internationally or while you're in the W, of building those relationships with your management, with your leadership, building relationships with your general manager, talking to them, staying connected to the league office and the opportunities that they help you find, then you have to start doing that early and kind of putting your name out there to that's something that you want to do, is be in a front office and be an executive.
I'll hold on one sec. I'll add a little bit more to that. Jazz is being like a little bit modest. A thing that's crucial, and I think that makes her perfect for this, is known Jazz a long time. Throughout her career, she's been a model citizen. She's been on time. She's been respectful. She's been a leader to the young group and showing them how to be professional. I think those things are transferable to this role for her, and we're just over the moon excited to have her and her experience and joining us in this this new role for her.
Thanks.
We go to Madeline Kenny, New York Post.
Oh, hi, sorry. I have a question for Jasmine and Curt, but Jasmine first. We are seeing more WNBA players taking roles within coaching staffs or front offices. Just what do you think is like the benefit of having a player or like a former player who's been there, done that, knows what it's like to actually live the league, to help, grow a franchise?
I think exactly that. It's a unique experience that you can't relate to unless you've been through it and you've actually been in the shoes. So being able to kind of provide that perspective and those insights, and the relationships and the experiences that come with that, you just bring a unique perspective to the table.
And then a question I have for you, Curt, is with the expansion draft, less than 2 weeks away now. It's next week, I guess. Just how comfortable are you going into it that your team will be either unscathed by the chance of losing a good player and hurting your guys' roster versus maybe even coming in being better for it?
Yeah, good question. And I first want to address again, like Jasmine provides invaluable insight as a former player in this league to me when I was a coach and now as a general manager. As much as I tried to brag to those guys through the years about my high school career, I couldn't relate, obviously, to their experience in the WNBA. And Jazz has been always that person that I could lean on going, can we get through practice today? What kind of practice can we have? Like how is the team? And she just has such a great pulse. And you're going to see the Jasmine Thomases, the Morgan Tucks, the Monica Wrights that are now in assistant GM roles. They are going to be leading franchises not far from now. And it's great to see. And it's what we do. It's someone that's been involved with women's basketball starting my 35th year. Empowering women leaders, empowering the next generation of women leaders in the sport of basketball is a passion. And it's great to see. But Jasmine is one of the elites, and her being in the role that she is here with Dallas gives me such a comfort that we're going to have a pulse on what is really happening with our players and where we can be better, where we can grow, what we are doing right. It's an invaluable relationship that we have, and because of the built-in relationship that we've had for 8 years, it's really exciting where this is going to go. Expansion draft, obviously you would like to be unscathed, but it is part of the process. And on paper, you picture losing, you know, your 7th best player per se. There's ways around it. There's trades. There's ways to try to protect even people that maybe aren't in your top 6 protection. There's strategy involved in all of this. So it's going to be a unique experience. The league, in terms of general managers, I'm probably the 2nd most tenured GM in the league. There's such a new wide-ranging experience of coaching in our league that many of us are going through an expansion draft for the first time. So it's going to be a learning process for all of it, and we're all going to learn and turn around and do it again next year.
Thank you.
Go to Diane Xavier, Dallas Examiner.
Yes, it's exciting to be here and meet all of y'all. My question is, you know, ever since the Wings came to the Metroplex, I've seen coaches come and go, and I know you're trying to get to that level of a WNBA championship. And my question is, what is it going to take for this team to get there? Because it seems like it's the same story year after year. They make it into the playoffs, but they exit early. So what's it going to take to get deeper into the playoffs and get to that WNBA title game where they actually win the championship? Because we had the Rangers one recently, but it would be awesome, I think, for women's basketball, professional basketball. We have the Dallas Wings beat everybody else, like the Cowboys or Mavericks, to the curb.
Is the question for?
Anybody, open to anybody. I'd like to especially hear from the newbies on this team, executive team. Just what are your thoughts on taking this team to the level where we want it to be? Because Dallas is a big sports market, and here it's like we want championships. So, and I've seen the Wings play; they're just as good and talented as any other WNBA team, but they seem to fall short around the same time. And I know Cowboys season is big.
Sorry. Yes, certainly. Obviously, that's the goal, is to build the franchise into a championship and hang banners. It is going to happen through hard work. It's going to happen through consistency and a shared vision from top to bottom. It's engagement and investment by ownership. All those things are aligned, and then you build towards sustained success, which has been a big part of my career and what's important to me. And you have to have a consistency. I've talked about, you know, at times in pro basketball, what have you done for me lately? There's change after change after change. We're looking for consistency amongst our front office, consistency amongst the coaching staff, and building with a core group that has an opportunity to build together and play together is really important, and products to how you win and build a championship.
This question is for Travis from Dorothy Gentry. Travis, you've been with the Wings for a while. How do you feel personally and professionally about this upward movement of the franchise?
Thanks for the question, Dorothy. Personally, like she said, I've been here for a while, but I have a love for this organization and for this city because I've been here so long. And being able to climb through the ranks and all the people that have helped and all the support that I've gotten, especially from Greg too as well, has been amazing. So that's on a personal level. Professionally, what's happened so far doesn't really matter. I think I'm looking forward to what we as a group can accomplish here. I think we have all the ingredients and the recipe for a winner. And I believe we will win here, and that's the purpose. Curt mentions that shared vision. Nobody wants to win more than all of us sitting up here. So that, along with our efforts and being aligned and just looking forward and trying to keep things positive, I'm excited for all things Dallas. A lot of good things in the city, good in the organization. It's just all positive moving forward for me.
John A. Moreau next.
Know if y'all can hear me. Can you hear me now, everybody?
Yep.
Question. I have a question for President Greg, Coach Miller, and then Ms. Jasmine. For Mr. Bibb, what are the immediate goals you're trying to see next season that you could say that this season was a success? For Coach Miller, what are the biggest priorities for the Wings this offseason? And then for Jasmine, what lessons have you learned from your playing career that you can implement into your new role?
Thanks for the question. From a basketball perspective, get back on track is probably the simplest way to say it. You know, we had been building and getting better and made the semifinals in 2023, and then, 2024 happened, and I don't want to rehash that, but we need to get back on track. And I think this is a reset, a little bit more than perhaps a rebuild when you look at some of the elements, but on the other hand, it's a fresh start. We have a new captain of the ship, a new leader in Curt, who comes in with tremendous experience and a tremendous proven track record. And then we have unbelievable depth within his organization in Travis and Jasmine. And as we've been sitting here and I've listened to the questions and I've heard them speak, obviously I kind of knew this, but it even dawned on me more today. Like, there isn't a piece of the basketball business that we don't have covered with these three, whether it be someone who's won as a coach, someone who's won as a general manager, someone who's won as an elite player in the league, someone who's literally done every operational job within a basketball department from intern all the way now up to senior vice president. We have sitting to my right here in these three people. If that's not a great start to a foundation of a successful basketball enterprise, I'm not sure what would be. So I am excited for our future. I'm thrilled to have these three leading the way, and I'm confident we're going to get back on track to what we were building in the recent past.
I'll just build on that. Again, I'll echo a lot of what he says. Build a competitive team immediately, partnering with a new head coach and aligning with the style and the type of player that they believe they can be successful with. But I'm bullish when you look around the league and the experience that we have in our executive squad now in the GM roles. I'm bullish that there's no team of executives that have more depth than we do now in the league. And that depth is also now we want to translate it into the coaching staff and ultimately the team. Depth is a big word for us that we are trying to acquire across the board in basketball operations. So really excited about putting together a strong foundation that not only our fan base, but everyone that watches the Dallas Wings know, hey, they have a solid foundation built. Their future is really bright. And there's a style of play, and now it becomes a destination location for free agents in the future, especially as we all look forward to that 2026 fishbowl of free agents. There's 2 veterans in the entire league right now that are under contract beyond the 25 season. So it is going to be really imperative that we are set for future success coming out of that 25 season, preparing for 26 and beyond.
And I would just say things from my playing career that transfer into being successful in this role. I would say collaboration, being good at working in teams and valuing that. That's like where I thrive, is working in team settings. So being able to work with this executive group of people while also collaborating with players to create an experience here and services here that make this a place that people want to play and enjoy playing. And then also I'd say communication. I'd say being able to kind of manage different people, that whether it's different experience level, different ways of life, different roles, being able to have them come together and be successful. Those are things that I think will help me be successful in this role.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
For Curt from Landon Thomas, you've built teams into contenders in the same role when you were with Connecticut Sun. What would you say is the common denominator amongst those teams to be successful?
Yeah, again, I talked a little bit about it. There's a competitive toughness. There's an unselfishness of championship teams. There's a desire to come to work every day and get better. Preparation as a coach and also an executive is my #1 pillar. We are going to be prepared And those were attributes of our teams. Jazz will tell you we were probably the most scout-heavy team in the league during my time as a coach. That just comes back to the preparation. She's not laughing, but she's probably thinking, yeah, we all watched a lot of film. But those are, that's the partnership that I would like to align with the head coach and some of the attributes that will, resonate throughout our organization. And it starts with preparation, a competitiveness, a desire to get better each and every day.
Just a couple more, we'll go to Kane McCutcheon.
Greg, for you, I'm just kind of curious, with the GM hire, what was the process like of not only landing on Curt to be the guy, but realizing that, a GM was something you wanted to help lead the franchise?
Yeah, I'll probably start with the second part and then get to the first part. I think, some reflection during the past season and then certainly after the season, I think, fortunately, our business, and when I say our business, I mean the organization as a whole, the Dallas Wings, like every WNBA team, and then from a broader sense, every women's sports team in recent times has grown and grown quickly. It's been rapid acceleration, and the business along with that growth naturally becomes more complex and more sophisticated. And from a personal perspective, I found it more and more challenging to give what I felt was deserved to each kind of side of our business, the basketball and the business side. So I ultimately reached the decision that I thought it would be best interest of our organization if we invested in a leader who would be focused solely on the basketball side of our business. And when that decision was made, much like Curt is experiencing on the coaching front, I was really surprised, even knowing how quickly we were growing, the number of individuals interested in the role and the number of individuals interested in the role from outside of the WNBA, whether that be, to Curt's point, Power 4 college, whether that be NBA, whether that be internationally. And the amount of outreach, not from just the individuals, but fairly high-powered agents representing those individuals. So I was pleasantly surprised by the amount of opportunity in that search that we had here in Dallas. But as I mentioned at the top of our time together today, I was pretty clear in terms of what I was looking for in that leader. And when I put that initial list together, it didn't take long to write the name Curt Miller. I have, had opportunities to talk to Curt about roles with us in the past, and for various reasons, the timing just wasn't right. Fortunately, the timing was right this time. And I'm really excited to watch him take our organization to, higher levels and beyond, and ultimately to achieve what has been our goal since day one here, which is win a WNBA championship and then focus on winning multiple championships thereafter.
Final question will go to Walt. Very well.
You guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I guess a question for Mr. Curt and Mr. Miller. First off, thank you guys for doing this interview, and congratulations to everybody at the table for their new position, and congratulations on the season sellout on the season tickets. Question about that: will there get a point to this season to where we will see we'll have to move venues for more seating at certain games?
So I'll answer that. The answer is I don't know as we sit here in mid-November. Obviously, you play in a bigger venue. You can bring in more fans from a business perspective. It creates more revenue opportunity, more revenue that can ultimately be reinvested into players. For the player experience to play in larger crowds, it's a great thing. There's no downside to that. But we have a very long standing and very mutually beneficial relationship with the city of Arlington, the University of Texas at Arlington, and College Park Center. So whenever we have those kinds of decision-making processes in front of us, I'm very sensitive to those relationships. Arlington, UTA, College Park Center, you know, back in 2015, in advance of the 16 season, when the team first moved to North Texas, it was a different time. There wasn't as much interest in the WNBA or a team relocating to a market. And they raised their hand and they said they wanted to be our partner. And they've been a great partner every step of the way. So whenever we think about those kinds of decisions, there's a lot that goes into it beyond just, hey, there's an opportunity to play in a bigger venue, maybe make some more money. So those things we evaluate. Certainly, we've seen what happened last year around the league. I think we were the only team that played in a smaller building that elected not to go to a larger venue at least once. And again, that was a decision that I made primarily in recognition of our relationship here in Arlington, but also too, you know, we've had season ticket holders that have been here since day one. And what happens is, I'm a big believer, sports is like that last great unifier of people. So if you have season ticket members who have been here a long time, they build communities. And if you move from one venue to another, inevitably you impact that experience in those communities. And I don't want to do that either. So it's a harder decision than it may appear to be. And we're just not at a point yet where we're ready to commit one way or the other to what that looks like in 2025.
Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you to all the Dallas Wings in the room. I will send a recording of this over shortly and look forward to working with you all for the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.